Welcome to this episode of the Smart Leaders Sell podcast. I'm Jessica Lorimer, sales coach and leadership expert, and I am really excited to dig down into today's episode. Can you believe that we are almost at the end of January? Like, how has this happened? I keep thinking to myself, I'm like, oh my goodness, I thought last year went quickly, but actually 2019 is already flying by. Like, we're already mid-January. And so if you are somebody who's been thinking about New Year's resolutions, hitting new money goals, then today you're going to be excited because today we are talking all about the usually taboo topic of cash. What cash do you need? How much? Let's just have that transparent and slightly awkward, if you're British, conversation about money. Now, I'm thinking about money this month, and I'm always really honest with you guys. My poddies, I'm thinking about house deposits and buying houses outright and the amount of cash that actually takes, which is surprisingly quite a lot. Like, a few years ago, I bought my property, the flat that we currently live in the recession. And I was very grateful to the recession. It's the only thing I was grateful to the recession for, if I'm honest. But house prices were at an all-time low. And we are now considering buying a different property. And we're going to be buying at a peak. And that means that we're obviously going to be buying at a premium, which means that estate agents will love us because the amount of commission that they're going to make is phenomenal. So money has been on my mind this month. And I've been starting to think about, what I'd really like. One of my old mentors used to say to me, money goes where it has a purpose. She actually used to say money flows where it has a purpose, but we all know that I'm just not woo enough for that. So I'm going to go with goes. It feels better for me. But she used to say this to me, and she used to say, Jess, money goes where it has a purpose. You need to really start thinking about what you actually want. Otherwise, it's really hard to just make an arbitrary number. And that's so true, and it's one of those things that I found really difficult online when I first started out because I never really wanted money. Money was not a key driver for me. And it was funny for me because I'd ended up working in sales, which is obviously one of the most money-driven industries, if not the most money-driven industry that you can possibly find. But as a kid growing up, we didn't have any money. My parents were both incredibly hardworking. They were both in the forces. We moved around a lot. I had an awful lot of life experience. I went to lots of different schools. I lived in lots of different places, but we didn't have money. Don't get me wrong. We were not living under bridges. We were not destitute in any way, shape or form. My parents worked really hard, but my mum was the kind of mum who she went back to work when I was 6 weeks old because we needed the money. And that was fine. There was nothing to be embarrassed about, with that. And I never felt like I had missed out on any opportunities as a kid growing up. And then obviously I went to work in the sales industry, and there your targets are all about how much money can you make and how much commission can you earn. And even then I wasn't really fussed about the commission. Yeah, it was nice. I could buy nice shoes, handbags, car, whatever, but the money wasn't the driver. And so actually it made me a really difficult salesperson to manage because I kind of didn't care about the money, and I kind of didn't care about the fact that maybe I'd get more commission or less commission. That didn't make me want to do it. It didn't make me want to do the tasks any more or any less. It just didn't really impact me. And so I had to start learning as an adult what my key drivers, what my key motivators were for actually doing the work. And that's something that took me an awful long time to find. And actually it became easier when I went into the online space. And I found this great quote that summed me up a few years ago, and I cannot remember who said it, and I have Googled it and I can't find it. But the quote is this, or the mantra, if you like, is this. And this is something I used to have on my bathroom mirror up until Sam got sick of seeing post-it residue on there. Back in the days when I first started my business, when I was trying very hard to be super open with the mindset stuff, and I did all the chanting and the mantras and the everything. But I used to have this post-it, and it said, you only get paid for the value that you add to others. And for me, that was it. That was when I realized what my actual motivator was. It hadn't ever been that I just wanted more money. It hadn't ever been even that I really wanted to buy a property, or I really wanted a pair of shoes. I'm not somebody who wants anything. And it drives my family nuts. Every year at Christmas, people go, what does Jess want? And everyone collectively tuts and sighs and says, nothing. She doesn't want anything. And it's true. You know, in life, I have everything I want. I have a dog, which, you know, for most people, probably not the first thing on their wants list, but I've always loved dogs. So I have a dog. You know, I have a really nice family. I have a great boyfriend. I have a life where I get to walk. My commute is from my bedroom to my office. I mean, seriously, how does life get better than this? And so for me, I'm not somebody who wants anything. There's only one thing that I really, really want, and that's for other people to do well. I get a kick out of doing things for other people, doing nice things. So I'm always the person who will send an unexpected gift. I'm always the person who will text friends out of the blue when I know they're having a hard time and, you know, send a bottle of wine to their doorstep or something. I'm always that person because I actually enjoy other people being happy or other people achieving something that has really been on their wants list. And so this idea of you charge for the value that you add to others and therefore you get paid for the value that you have to others, that really stuck with me. And that, for me, decided what my key driver was going to be for setting up this business, for continuing to run it, and for taking it to new income goals every single year. Because what I started to realize was that the more income I generated, the more people I was actually impacting, right? The bigger my audience was growing, the more I was selling, the more I was making. It is this cycle that I see that is mutually beneficial. In exchange for knowledge, I get to see, you know, income, which is awesome, but also I get to see other people succeed. If I didn't have the income, if I couldn't pay my bank manager for, you know, mortgages and taxes and all that kind of stuff that we have to pay, I wouldn't be able to make the impact that I do. And so for me, the two, impact and income, they are mutually beneficial as opposed to being exclusive of each other. And so in this episode, that's what I want to talk about, is this honest conversation and get transparent about what your money actually means to you. You know, are you somebody who's been saying, well, I help people, so I don't need to make money? Or, you know, are you somebody who's picked perhaps like an arbitrary number? I want to make 6 figures this year. Yeah, but why? And actually talk about what you want the money for. What does your money mean to you this year? What are you going to do differently? Because if you found it difficult to hit money goals in the past, maybe it is that the money isn't your main motivator, you know, or maybe it's that actually you're not setting the goal that is going to help you succeed. So that's what we're going to explore in this episode. And hopefully by the end of it, you'll have some ideas on what you want to do to make your money goals in 2019. So the first thing for me is that we don't set up businesses to recreate crap 9-to-5s that we've spent a long time escaping. All right. Nobody takes on the roller coaster ride that is entrepreneurship with all of its highs and lows so that they can recreate a 9-to-5 or a 9-to-8 or a 24-hour workday just for giggles, right? It's hard. Building a business is really hard. And equally, all the time, when we are building businesses, we're seeing adverts, we're seeing blogs, we're seeing podcasts that are all telling us financial freedom, get financial freedom, aim for financial freedom. And we kind of get caught up in that, right, okay, we don't want to have a really crap job that we don't enjoy and that pays us good money. We want to have this life of financial freedom and laptop lifestyle and all this kind of thing, but we kind of forget about what it actually means. We get caught up in what other people's dreams are. You know, a few years ago, if you made 6 figures online, you were the best thing since sliced bread. Now, if you've made 7 figures, you're kind of average, right? Everyone's like, oh yeah, 7 figures, I want to make that. And then, you know, next year, maybe it'll be 8 figures or 9 figures or whatever the 10-figure dream is, right? I think Bill Gates is not necessarily worried about all of us creeping up. He's like, look, guys, I've got a little bit of a head start. But it's this kind of thing, you know, what do you actually want financially? So we have to start with knowing our numbers. So when I gave up my job 4 years ago, or 4.5 years ago, I'd saved up like 3 months worth of living expenses. And my living expenses at that time were low. I mean, they still are. I don't really, you know, I'm not sat here with an assistant from Prada every 5 minutes demonstrating new products, that's for sure. But I remember budgeting £1,500 a month. I was like, right, okay, I can live on 1,500 quid a month. And that will pay my mortgage, it'll pay my utility bills, it'll pay for food, and, you know, things like car insurance and petrol and the occasional pub night out, which I never went on because, you know, worked forever. But that was my cost. I was like, look, this is my living cost, £1,500 a month. And that actually wasn't that much. I was like, right, okay, I'm charging £1,250 for somebody to work with me. So all I need is 2 clients a month, and I'm there. I'm double my money, basically. And so that was my aim. I was like, I just have to get 2 clients a month, 2 clients a month, 2 clients a month. And that was fab. So, right, great, this is wonderful. 2 clients a month. I could have done that forever. I had no real need to expand my expenses. And then I started thinking about, well, is this the life that I want? And I went through a particularly awful phase. I was telling my daughters this the other day, of buying 1-ply toilet roll. I had a particularly bad month in business, and I was trying to save money. I was like, right, okay, I'm going to save money and it's all going to be fine. And so I bought 1-ply toilet roll. And honestly, it's like wiping your backside with concrete that splits. It's just horrible and scratchy and awful. And I promised myself I would never, ever, ever do it again. And to this day, if I go to public toilets, I have a stack of my own tissues. How weird is that? Just in case they have 1-ply. But I started thinking about this idea of, what did I want from my life? What did I want in terms of my lifestyle? Did I want to be able to go on a couple of holidays a year? If I did, what was the cost of that? You know, did I want to buy nicer Christmas presents for my family? And yes, I did. And how much was that going to cost me? Did I want to be mortgage free? You know, did I want to send Max to doggy daycare? The answer is no. He's a complete savage and hates other animals. But, you know, if I'd have wanted to do those things, these are all things that I took into account and looked at, well, how much would they actually cost me? So think about you. Think about, what would your nice lifestyle look like? What would it look like for you to be happy? You know, would you be mortgage free? Would you have your kids in private school? Would you be buying a new car? Would you be having an iPhone whenever they launch them? You know, would you be buying into the latest brands? Are you somebody who likes to update your clothes regularly? And start taking this into account and thinking, well, how much would it actually cost me? Because when we start looking at these numbers, it can be really easy online to get caught up into, yeah, I need 7 figures. But in actual fact, for the majority of us to be mortgage free and, you know, live a nice lifestyle, 2 holidays a year, that kind of thing, we don't need £1 million. Right? And so actually, when we start out with this huge goal of, I'm going to make £1 million, it's terrifying because we can't comprehend what we do with that amount of money, right? So think about it. Put your nice lifestyle in, and obviously add in any business investments you want to make. Do you want coaching next year? Do you want to join a mastermind? Do you want to upgrade your computer? Any of that kind of thing. And map out, what is that actually going to look like? How much is that really going to cost you? And then start thinking about the benefits of you actually making money. Because I get a lot of people who come to me and they go, yeah, Jess, I know I should be charging more. I know I'm undercharging at the moment. I know I should be selling more, but I feel really uncomfortable about making money. And again, I get it. I never had any growing up. You know, money for me wasn't an issue because we didn't have any. And when I came into the online world, people would talk to me and say, oh, that's your money story. Oh, you just don't want it because you never had it. You don't miss what you never had, and things like that. And I found that quite offensive, actually. Because it wasn't that I didn't see the value of money, but because it wasn't my key driver, because I didn't really care. As long as I had my £1,500 a month to live, I was like, well, that's great. Even now, I say this to Sam all the time, like, if my business went bust tomorrow, I'd go and get a job in the supermarket, I'd stack some shelves, I'd build another business, and, you know, it'd be fine. I just don't have that attachment to money. Now, you might. And that might make your life a lot easier. You might be somebody who's really driven by the numbers, and not just because you really want to be rich, but because you really want to attain a certain goal. And that's fine too. We're all very, very different. But I think you also have to start thinking about, what are the benefits of me really making this money? You know, what's the transformation for my clients? What are the results that they're getting from me making this money? If we charge for the value that we add to others, what are they getting? What's the awesome result? What's the awesome return on investment that they're going to get? And again, their return on investment they might be looking for may not necessarily be money. What's the transformation for you? You know, what's the point of you making this money? How does it impact you? What kind of person does it make you? If you make more money, are you able to give more to charity? Are you able to spend more time with your family? Are you able to have more quality time with people that you love? Is that a transformation that you want? You know, what's the impact on your family, if you can spend more time with them, if you can spend more quality time with them, if you can reduce stress, if you can reduce worry and concern about outgoings, how does that impact your family unit? And then start thinking about the impact on the world at large, right? If you are making the money that you want to make and you're giving more to charity, or you're able to spend your free time doing work that impacts the world in a positive way, or you are transforming the lives of people around the world and making them happier or healthier or wealthier, you're impacting your family directly, and each person that they're going on to talk to and see over the course of their day, they're impacting somebody too, because they're happier, because they're less stressed. What's the impact of you earning more money on the world at large? Is it a charity thing? Is it a client transformation thing? Is it a family thing? Is it a, look, I'm just a really, really good person? Because a lot of people tend to assume that rich people are assholes. And I've never really been like that. I've always assumed if you're an asshole, it doesn't matter whether you have money or whether you don't. You are just an ass. And that's kind of here nor there. You know, the only way that that is going to change is when you've had an experience in life that makes you rethink the way that you see the world or that you interact with it. The amount of money you have doesn't change who you are inherently as a person. It does not. You don't get given 50 quid and suddenly you become, I don't know, Richie Rich. You don't become Paris Hilton-esque, you know, and demand that everyone takes out the orange M&Ms from packets of confectionery just because you suddenly get given £1,000. You know, so our personalities inherently do not change just because we have more money. It's more often that we see bad representations of people in the media who have more money. And that's generally because sometimes more people are following them around. More people are waiting for them to screw up. And when they do, the world's paparazzi are there. And so that is the representation that sometimes we do see. You know, it's quite unfair. But it's not necessarily going to happen to you. The world's paparazzi are not necessarily going to follow you around to the post office on a Tuesday afternoon just because you suddenly are able to generate consistent cash flow in your business, you know. And then on that, start thinking about who you need to become. When we're thinking about money goals, we always think about, oh God, how much do I need to make and how is that going to happen and what's the strategy behind it? And I completely agree with all of those things, just as an FYI. But also, who do we need to become to be that person who earns that amount of money? Do we need to become more productive? Do we need to become more focused? Do we need to streamline? Do we need to actually focus down on a niche? You know, do we need to spend a little bit more time working right now instead of going out quite so much, so that when you hit the money goal, do whatever you like. You can really live the lifestyle that you want. Start thinking about who you need to become to earn the money that you want to earn, who you need to become to sell the offers that you want to sell. If you want to sell high-end luxury intensive offers, you know, it's much harder to do that if you constantly talk about how rich people are evil. The two are contradictory, you know, and it's not going to work for you. So you've got to start looking at, if you're increasing your money goal, if you're starting to increase all of these areas and upgrade these areas of your life, who do you need to become? Do you need to set better boundaries? You know, do you need to be the person who says no a little bit more often? Do you need to be a person who says yes? Do you need to remove some of the labels that you might hold for yourself, whether that's wife or husband or mum or dad or whatever that looks like, and actually put new labels in there, like business owner, you know, complete and utter legend. That would be a great one to have. I would love to have that on a label maker. But, you know, seriously, it's that question of who do you need to become in order to, A, set this goal that is realistic and that you do want to hit because it does have a purpose for you. And how, you know, when you become that person, how you actually go about your day and how you actually go about selling your offers and showing up in the world. You know, some of you, it's going to be about just selling more often. Who do you need to become? I need to become the person that genuinely sells every single day because I want to hit a big goal. And then finally, the thing for me around money is when we don't have money, it can feel really hard to come by. And the reality is money is everywhere. Honestly, I say this all the time to people, anyone can make money. Literally, if my dog could talk and had opposable thumbs and could type, he would be on the internet making a ton of money. Mainly because he's cute with really big ears. But we tend to feel like money making is hard. We make it complicated. And then suddenly every single discovery call we get on, we're panicking. Oh my God, what if they don't buy? That's my mortgage payment. Panic, panic, panic. And it's that desperation mode. And people can feel it when you feel desperate, when you feel trapped or uncomfortable or awkward. That's what comes across in your sales calls. So if you don't have money yet, if you are struggling, if you're finding it difficult to come by, put yourself in a position of power when it comes to cash. Do the basic things, reduce your expenses, or go and get something like a part-time job. Fund your business. There is nothing to be ashamed of. I don't understand why people, always say, oh yeah, just leave your job and build the business and it'll all be fine. Because actually, if you're stressed about money, there's nothing worse than putting yourself in a position of terror when it comes to your finances. Instead, put yourself in this position of power. Get a part-time job. Know that you have a steady monthly income coming in. And be grateful for that, because it is helping you build your business to the level that you want it to be. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on making money and having a purpose behind why you're doing it. Because honestly, it really is difficult to hit those large money goals if you aren't attaching the value of that money to something that has far more relevance or far more purpose for you and for your business. It's been epic spending Monday with you as normal. On Friday, we have yet another awesome guest for the 6-Figure Success series, talking about the real strategies that they've used to skyrocket their sales and their impact over the last few years. So I will see you on Friday. Have a fabulous week, and feel free to hit me up and let me know exactly what you think about money and what your purpose for money is this year in your business. I'll see you in the next episode.